Hello and welcome to the introduction for the DML4 Fantasy League. $5,000 in payouts, and we just went over the draft. Today, we're just going to do a quick recap. A recap of the season before us, the people currently in the league, who's to watch out for, how the draft has gone for some people, and how poorly it's gone for some others, and many other things to just introduce and recap DML4 as we go into Season 2. And I'm here with Tanner, 10,000 YouTube subscribers, fellow competitive Madden player, and DML connoisseur. And he will also be going over this with me. How are we doing, Tanner?
Terrific. Doing quite swell. I'm just excited for this upcoming year. Very, very excited for this.
I am as well. I'm the Packers, and Tanner is... What team are you,
The
Tanner?
Buffalo Bills.
Yes, the Addicted to Oreos lurk tag. Let's just begin, Tanner? Let's go over last league's standings and how it went out. Last league, the Super Bowl champion was YouTuber, Phenom, Kmac. Second place was Pro NBA 2K League player, It's Radiant, and also competitive Madden player. Coming second place from the AFC, Kmac came from the NFC. In our conference round, it was That Goose Guy versus Kmac. Kmac came up top there. In the other conference round on the NFC side, it was That Goose Guy versus Radiant. Radiant came out top in that game. In the NFC, Kmac came over Madden Rocks. In the divisional round, we had David knocked out in the divisional round. Kai, which is the Chiefs player, knocked out in the divisional round. Big Show, the Washington Commanders runner-up in Madden 21, knocked out in the divisional round. And Astro, Final Four of the Madden Bowl, knocked out then. In the wildcard round, I had lost, unfortunately. Dopest, Scooted, Chauncey Feet, and 818's own Hefe. That's basically how the last week went. I'm going to ask you, Tanner, who are you watching out for this league? Do you think we're going to see some of the same faces come out next season? Hello and welcome to the DML4 draft. It has already began, and we better get going. The Colts, with the first pick, took Tariq Woolen, cornerback out of U2SA. It's Radiant actually made it to the Super Bowl, and he got the number one pick. He was very active in trading. We will go over that in the recap, but with the number one pick, he takes Tariq Woolen. I think that's a really good pick. I believe he's a high-speed corner, so I think Radiant got his guy right there. With the second pick, the commissioner, Who's Your Daddy, a.k.a. Blake, takes Tyquan Thornton out of Baylor. And with the third pick, we have FR Jet. I don't think FR Jet actually went too far in the playoffs this year. I don't even think he even scraped it. He may have had a losing record, but that's why he has the third pick. I'm wondering who he's going to take. Now, with pick number 4, Aiden Hutchinson was taken by the Philadelphia Eagles. That's kind of crazy. I didn't think a defensive lineman would go on this early. I know a lot of these players like corners. That's where I expected. Sauce Gardner goes off the board at pick number 5 to Kmac. Kmac probably needed corners. Sauce Gardner, I believe, is 94 speed in this draft class. He's really fast. Probably a superstar with such an early pick. I think that was a great pick by Kmac. And then the Titans, Katana King takes Marquise Bell out of Florida. Another DB. I think that was another great pick. I feel like DBs are always a great pick. Acros always seem to activate and come in clutch for you to finally get that stop, especially with how difficult defense is in Madden 22. Blake, aka the commissioner, Who's Your Daddy, takes Kalen Barnes out of Baylor. I think that's another great pick. The DBs are now going off the board. I expected them to go off a little earlier. It's nice to see them going off the board. I'm really hoping at pick 21 I could get a DB. Evan Neal. That is a superstar left tackle. That's going to be Big Show's post-up. I know Big Show runs trips tight end. He likes to step up in the pocket. I don't believe he has a mobile QB either, so I think that was a great pick by Big Show. Now, Radiant, the Super Bowl loser, the guy who came in second place this year, at round 1, pick 1, takes Lewis Sign. That's 92 speed. I believe he's 6'2". He's extremely fast, and I believe he's also a superstar. So right now, it's actually kind of crazy how well my friend Radiant has been doing this draft. He has pick 1 and pick 9. Probably got 2 superstars. And there we go. Kmac back on the board takes Jamison Williams out of Alabama. I believe that's another tall, fast receiver. I'm not 100% sure on his stats. I had not been looking at Jamison. Yeah, definitely a top 5 projections. That's another superstar for Kmac. So now he took probably a superstar corner and a superstar receiver. Kmac's got a great draft so far. Radiant is back on the board at pick 11. So not only did Radiant have pick 1, pick 9, now he has pick 11, and he takes Christian Watson. I just checked him out, top 5 pick. Another fast receiver, probably a superstar. Right now, Radiant and Kmac have been on the board a ton lately, and Radiant is up again at pick 13. He is going to have all the rookies in this draft. But right now, my friend Kane, a.k.a. Chief Him, is on the board. He went really far this year. I believe he made the divisional round and lost to, I think he lost to Radiant. Kayvon Thibodeau, exactly who I said was going to be taken, was taken. And back again, Radiant takes Nick Cross, strong safety out of Maryland. Honestly, Radiant's had such a dominant draft. He's had 4 first-round picks just in the top 15. He had pick 1, pick 9, pick 12, and that was just pick... pick 13. So I think he had pick 9, pick 11, pick 1, and pick 13, all in one in the first round. Tanner, isn't that absolutely wild?
I think it's safe to say he's not happy about what happened last year in the Super Bowl, and he's looking for vengeance. I mean, he traded Marshawn Lattimore, X Factor, I think 94 overall for the first overall pick. He clearly had a draft board set, and he wanted to just make sure that he could get every single person on that board. And he's had plenty of first-round picks, so I'm sure that he's crossed off a lot of names that he's had on his big old board.
Is on the board right now. I don't think he's had a winning season in 9 DMLs, probably the whole year, poor guy. Some people have been calling this kid a donation. He was very good at Madden 21, and right now he's at pick 14. I wonder who he takes. I wonder if he shows up. Maybe this is part of the reason he hasn't made the playoffs, is that he just doesn't show up, Hammer. He just doesn't show up.
You might be onto something there. I think it's mostly he doesn't show up for his games, but him showing up to the draft, that is also an issue that has to be addressed if he does want to start making more playoff runs.
He definitely has the capability at only 14 years old. It's kind of crazy how good he is at the game. Competing in a CFM this size is truly unheard of. Only I'd say it's Brassius, who's the player we're talking about now, and JMH has been able to do that at such a young age. And then he takes Ikem Ekwonu. Did I say it right? Ekwonu, yep. And then right there, the Bengals, who's the Bengals? Not the Bengals, the Buccaneers.
Raging R Nurse.
Raging R Nurse. And Hammer has left the call. He will be back. And he's going to take his pick. I wonder who Hammer's going to take. He didn't give me any hints. So I'm curious to see who he takes. Looking at Hammer's team, let's just take a quick look and see one of his team needs. I know Hammer likes his receivers. He always doesn't get them early on. He has receivers, but he might take a receiver here. Gary Jennings is only a 73 overall, so he might take a receiver. We'll see what Hammer does here at pick 17. I don't know. Does he have DBs? Now, that's one thing Hammer also really likes to have is fast DBs. He calls them kangaroos. Big T Hammer fan, you guys know that. He might take a DB here. There's a lot of fast DBs, but he doesn't exactly have that quality. He has Minka, but other than that, doesn't have that quality DB. Only 34 seconds left. Oh, man. Hammer's really thinking. He takes Daxton Hill. He does end up taking that DB that I said. His DBs were okay. They weren't the highest overall. I don't know if Daxton is a superstar. This is a new draft class from what I can tell. I'm curious to see what Daxton does on T-Hammer's squad, and I'm sure you guys will see it on the T-Hammer YouTube channel, or if he is in any game of the weeks this season. Scoot takes Jermaine Johnson II. Not a bad pick, a right end, a speed rusher. I'm a big fan of D linemen, so I respect that pick by Scoot. If you want to send 2, send 3, you definitely need those edge rushers. T-Hammer's back with us. Now, T-Hammer, why the Daxton Hill pick?
Honestly, I was scared. I went with the guy that I've played with a lot in these CFMs. I saw McDuffie on the board. I heard of him. His last name's kind of cool, but it only said good speed. I wanted great speed. I saw great speed, and I acquired it.
Right there, I think that is just the steal of the draft by Kmac. Kyle Hamilton, 6'4", I believe he's 94 speed, also a superstar. I actually thought you were going to take him. You didn't end up, and that's who he takes.
He said he only had solid speed.
Oh, right there.
I don't know which draft class
After
it was,
Kmac, look who we got. Look who we got. Radiant again takes a right end, Trayvon Walker. Interesting pick. He just has everybody. And now it's Swolosimo's pick, a.k.a. your boy. And your boy doesn't know who he wants to take, if I'm being honest. Scoot is on the board and took Calvin Austin III, wide receiver out of Memphis. Hammer, have you ever had Calvin Austin on your squad?
Never heard of him. That's going to change quickly, though, because Mr. Scoot is in the AFC, and he took my playoff spot. So I'm sure if T-Hammer sees him on the regular season schedule, he will be targeting Scoot for the hit that he put on me, taking me out of the playoffs. But that was also at the hands of a NFC foe of the name of Anti-Hero. But we don't talk about that, okay? Tanner didn't make the playoffs. Not the end of the world. We'll make it this year.
Anti-Hero, the king of runners.
Yes.
Not the king of passing.
Yes, the king of getting lucky as well. I got very unlucky that game.
Little animosity. I respect it, Hammer. I do respect the animosity. Sometimes you got to go for that revenge game. He's an ex-FOMer. He did make multiple live events. Great runner. Definitely not the best passer, but definitely a good defensive player. So you have to respect his game. You don't see too many runners in a game like this, so you definitely have to respect it.
Yeah, the respect is definitely there. It's just the sadness is also the sadness is overwhelming the respect from my end, unfortunately. Kind of like traveling overseas, you don't really know what you're gonna get. That's what it feels like when you play Anti for me personally.
It's like a different language. He runs single back trio, eye close, stretch to the left, and he runs a lot of play action passing. And I think he runs pistol trips a little bit as well.
Yeah, he definitely gives you a tour of things you've never seen in the entire game. And
Right
the game's
there.
been out for almost a year, so.
Chauncey Feet takes Traylon Burks, wide receiver out of Arkansas. I think that may have been a CPU pick, if I'm correct.
I believe so. It went down to 0-0.
Yeah, definitely a CPU pick. I don't think he's too fast, Traylon Burks, but I believe he is a high route running receiver.
I think he's tall, too.
That's
I might
good,
be
yeah.
wrong. I think he's like 6'2", 6'3".
Yardy's on the board. Now, Yardy will run the ball, but Yardy can also pass. He's going to be passing primarily. I like Yardy to look for a receiver or a DB here. So it's probably going to be... Oh, and he already took his guy. He took a linebacker. I was completely wrong. It looks like Yardy is transitioning to 4-3 even 6-1 this season, looking for fast lurker linebackers. Definitely, as soon as you see someone pick a linebacker, you know there's going to be many linebackers on the field, and you know exactly what formation they're going to be in. And right there, Big Show, just as pick before us, just took KR a limb. The guy I was looking, I believe he's a 92 speed superstar, fantastic player. Good pick by Big Show, the Washington Commanders runner-up for Madden 21. And then right after that, the Browns, Smooth Moves, one of the guys who is always on the cusp of playoffs, doesn't usually make the playoffs. However, Isaac Taylor-Stewart was a good pick. I believe he's 6'3", 94 speed. He was also on my radar. And just now, you know who's on the clock? The DML Legacy leader, TTV, the David T. He runs Tampa Bay spread and pretty much everything in it. You don't want to see him on your schedule. You don't want to see him in the playoffs. You don't want to see him on the field. You don't want to see him in weekend league. You don't even want to see him in head-to-head seasons because it's just going to be a bad day. He runs a very competent 3-5 wide and an even better Tampa Bay offense.
Completely agree. Sadly, the last 2 times I've played in DML playoffs, I've played David, and both of those times have been unfortunate losses. But we persevere. We almost beat him once. The other time, he just, things didn't go our way. But it's fine. David's a really good player. He's also very nice. That's the thing. Sometimes you get the good players that talk trash. They're not always the nicest. But David's a very humble and honest person. Very, very appreciative of the character and the high humility that he carries himself with. He's a very, very humble lad, Tanner would call him. But I don't know if he's drafting. It looks like he might be deliberating and taking a lot of time. But knowing David, he usually never really has the best teams. He doesn't really spend the most money on his teams, but he always, always, always does the best with the least, at least from what I've seen whenever I play him.
I 100% agree with you. He doesn't spend crazy money on his teams, and if he does, it's usually in the playoffs. But a defensive tackle, that's not bad. We need those guys. He's usually, they're heavier players. They split those double teams. And a quick tip for all of the viewers here, there's 4 things that matter for a defensive lineman. A lot of people think it's just superstar. A lot of people think it's just the power move. It is not. You want to look at your traits. Number 1, so if your traits are swim move, power move, that means they can do both. Your finesse move, your strength, and your weight. Very important for splitting double teams. Keep that in mind. And Chief Him, a.k.a. Kane Kai, takes Zion McCollum, cornerback out of Sam Houston. Never heard of that university, Tanner. I don't know if you have.
Cool name. I like how they spelled Zion. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Zion.
Indeed. Like. He's taken his DBs. He took his edge rusher that he wanted earlier in the draft. One of those players that also had multiple picks. He's looking to make a run. He actually lost in the divisional round to Radiant, his rival, who has had, I think, How many picks is he at? 5 or 6 now, Hammer?
5 or 6, yes.
It is wild.
Yes, to add with Kane, he had an amazing regular season. I think he only lost 1 or 2 games.
I think he lost just 1 or 2, yeah.
Yeah, it was incredible. But Radiant, very good offensive player. He loves to throw the deep bomb. And also plays a very aggressive style defense, loves to play man-to-man. So it's definitely not an easy matchup, especially because Radiant did beat David pretty well in the regular season. So when I saw that, I kind of figured he could make a run in the playoffs, and that's exactly what he did. He just got a little appalled by Kmac and that Kyler Murray, because K1, he's a problemo. Yeah, both Super Bowl teams are really loading up in the draft and just making things happen. I believe Kmac did trade away Kyler Murray in an effort to get more picks from the draft. So that looks like that is what he's pivoting towards.
And there's Kmac, takes Danny Gray for the last pick in the first round, wide receiver out of SMU. Kmac and Radiant have really dominated this draft. It looks like they've got exactly who they wanted every time. Hello, I'm here with Blake Mullen, the commissioner of Daddy's Money League. Daddy himself, he may have made me say that. I'm here also with T Hammer, 10,000 YouTube subscribers. We all love him. He's one of our best friends. You guys all know it. Now, we're just going to talk about Blake's draft. He just took his last pick. I'm really excited to interview him. He made a couple great picks, I don't know. It seemed like he was favoring certain positions. Blake, how do you think the draft went for you?
So we really scouted the Baylor Bears with this one. I mean, it was pretty simple. We got Tyquan Thornton at number 2, which was a reach, but we knew he'd be fast, right? The guy ran a 4.28. You got to love it. Baylor guy. I'm here at OU. Everybody knows that. I watched Baylor. I watched him do laps around our DBs. We loved him. So we got him at number 2. He ended up being a 97 speed. Massive W. After that, once again, Baylor trend. We know they had a first-team All-Big 12 track star and Kalon Burns on the team also. 97 speed. Speed demon. I reached at number 7. Those guys were 67 and 66 overall, so they're definitely, they're gadget guys. But, I mean, 6'2", 97 speed. We can upgrade the rest. You can't upgrade speed like that. You can't upgrade height. You got to favor it. And then in the second round, I also got Jalen Petrie, who we love. He's not as fast as we hoped for, only 90 speed. But, I mean, Jalen Petrie, absolute dog, 5'11". He's probably not going to see the field, but we had to stay on the Baylor theme. And then we also got Breece Hall, another Big 12 guy, 93 speed. He's a hidden dev. I don't know what he is, and I'm the commissioner. That's just honesty right there. I have no idea what he is. I know he's a 75 overall, 93 speed. Let me see what his catching is. Hopefully it's good. 67 catching. We can work with it. We got a few really good rookies. These guys are going to play day one. I like it a lot.
That's good. I am definitely happy. Would you say you're happy with your draft?
Absolutely. I mean, when you pull 297 speeds, when you get the 2 fastest guys in the draft, like, I know we had a reach. Like, we took a 67 overall at number 2 overall. Like, that's kind of tough. We took a 66 overall at number 7 overall. It's tough, but at the end of the day, I mean, Kalon Burns, he's 5'11". The height isn't that bad. He's 97 speed. He's going to see the field instantly. And Tyquan Thornton, I mean, he's low overall. But hey, everybody can catch in Madden 22. 6'2", 97 speed. Speaks for itself. We superstar him with one of our devs in the ability shop, and we're going to be cooking.
How do you see this draft potentially helping you? Because I know last year you unfortunately did not make the playoffs. You decided to tank a little bit throughout the year. Things did not go your way. How do you see these players that you just drafted helping you in making a playoff push for this upcoming year?
Yeah, so if you look at our team, the reason it was so terrible and there was really no motivation to play with it was because we have Jameis Winston at QB. Jameis Winston at QB, when you have him, you're likely not going to win many football games. No offense, Jameis. But, I mean, so he's better next season, or he's going to be better this upcoming season. He's going to have a gunslinger. And now we actually have a few threats. I was using some, like, 89 speed running back year 1. Now I have Breece Hall, 75 overall, hidden dev, 93 speed. Love Breece Hall. Love that pick. And then once again, I mean, getting weapons, it always helps. I think my third receiver was 90 speed. Now I have Tyquan Thornton, who's 97 speed. So, I mean, I'm going to be able to pair Tyquan Thornton up with, I believe, McCole Hardman and Curtis Samuel. 97, 97, 95. Pretty fast receiving core. Jameis hopefully can't screw it up that much. So, yeah, no, this team's going to the Super Bowl. That's a lock.
A lock, eh?
It's a lock.
Really? It is a lock.
Yeah, nobody's beating this team. This is the greatest team ever assembled on turf. This team is going to make me look like that guy. That's just pretty simple.
And you're in the NFC, correct?
I am in the AFC. I actually have like hardest division in the history of DML, of course, which is awesome. Everybody makes fun of me about always having the easy divisions. In this division, I have Party Hell, who is very good player. I know him. I have Katana, who's number 2 in DML Legacy, and I have a demon named Triffin. I don't know who the guy is, but he beat me. Like, I played like 5 games last year, and he kind of beat my face in one of those 5. Did not know he was going to be good. He's pretty good. I think he won like 11 games last season. So we have a very tough division, very tough conference. We have David T, Legacy number 1 and Legacy number 2 with me. But hey, if you want to be the best, you got to beat the best, right?
100%. I like the confidence, Blake. And I'm happy you're happy with your draft class. You definitely got a tough road ahead in the AFC. To call yourself a lock, would you say that's overconfident?
I don't think so, honestly. I think with this team, I mean, we're going to run laps around everybody else, literally. Like, we have 2 Big 12 track stars. I mean, they're both first team, all Big 12 track team. Oh, we have Henry Ruggs also. My bad. That's my receiver. It's Ruggs. He's kind of fast. So, I mean, you put Ruggs and Tyquan Thornton on the same field. I'm going to let the other guy, who's the other one I drafted, the other speed demon, I don't even remember his name anymore. But he's going to be out there with Gilly. Great mentor right there. We love it. I mean, Gilly and Byron Jones.
It was Kalen Barnes.
Kalen Barnes, yeah, thank you. Kalen Barnes, Gilly, and Byron Jones. Secondary is going to be locked down. Receivers are just going to be too fast. Quarterback's just going to be there, probably throwing a few ducks every now and then. But hey, as long as we can limit Jameis being Jameis, we should be fine. Might need to run it a little more this year, right? I mean, Brees, he's a demon. So yeah, we'll be fine. We're going to have a good year. I like myself to come out of the AFC for sure. David and Katana, those guys can't hang.
All right. It's been a pleasure interviewing Blake, commissioner of DML, everyone. A very good guy and a little overconfident, but you know what? We all respect him. It's great what he does for everybody here, and we're all looking forward to the future of this YouTube channel.
Hey, thanks for having me on the channel. You guys are killing it. Love it. See you guys.
Hello, everybody. I'm here with the one, the only Kmac, over 40,000 subscribers on YouTube, the absolute phenom in the competitive connected franchise mode category. One of the only pros besides T-Hammer that are sitting in these DML CFMs, competing with the best, actually competing. It's nice to see. How are you doing, Kmac?
Good. Thank you for having me.
Hey, I'm happy to have you. Now let's go with the first question. What did you think of your draft? We noticed you had a lot of first-round picks, a lot of second-round picks.
Yeah, so I definitely moved a lot of the pieces on my Super Bowl winning team to pick up some draft picks. I wanted to make an interesting video, and then I wanted to just like play with a ton of the rookies. So we took some chances. Like, for example, Kyle Hamilton ran like a 4.6. I was hoping for like 89, 90, 87, I think was the end result. So that was a bit rough. But, you know, we got Sauce Gardner, we got Jameson Williams as well. So not Nell all around.
Yeah, not too bad. Kyle Hamilton is usually a 94-speed superstar in some of our previous CFMs, so I definitely understand why you picked him. I thought that was a steal, actually, in the video. I said, oh my gosh, I can't believe Kmac just got Kyle Hamilton that late. Realizing now that he ran a 4.6 and is 87 speed, I understand why he was available.
Yeah.
Next, how do you see yourself doing this year with all these rookies?
It's going to be interesting. I'm just excited to play with the team. It seems like the worse my team is, the better I play. So now my team's actually kind of good because my team in Season 1 was kind of just carried by Kyler. So we'll see how it goes. I think I have Kobo in my division for Season 2, so it's going to be a lot more competitive.
And let's get to that.
That is going to be Tanner's question. Was that? So now you have Kobo in your own division. You also have some new people from the AFC, and I believe Astro just joined. What do you think of the competitiveness that is about to be brought to the NFC? I mean, it's not like you were walked through the NFC, but you do have Kobo in your division. You're going to play twice in the regular season. You might see him a third time in the playoffs. So what is that going to do for you this year? How is that going to change your potential playoff run to the Super Bowl, hopefully, again, for you?
I don't really think it changes anything. I feel like any time you win a Super Bowl, like you're just going to have to play like absolute hell games. Like I don't think there's such thing as just walking through an entire playoffs and winning it. And honestly, it doesn't even really matter the people you play. Like you could play someone objectively better than somebody else, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to, get a better game out of them. So I'm expecting if we, repeat in Season 2, the same amount of difficulty it took in Season 1, because we played some really tough games, like against Madden Rocks, for example, in the championship. It was probably the tightest game I've played all year. So, I'm not really expecting anything too different.
Madden rocks. The king of luck, he's been called recently.
Yeah,
in
I
his
see
recent
why.
league.
Yeah.
The tight Y off, nickel 335 odds, send 5, every play player. Definitely tough to beat as soon as he gets his hand on Escape Artist. It's hell in a cell playing tight Y off. And I just want to go over the Kyler trade. It seems like you got a lot. I personally think you won the trade. I believe you got pick 2, pick 19, a superstar and an X Factor, if I'm correct.
No, so we got Deshaun Watson, who is almost at Escape Artist, but obviously considerably slower. So he's about 7 speed slower. So it's not going to be the same as Kyler, but we still do have Escape. So that's nice to have, especially in a league like this. I think Escape is it's just too good not to have. And then on top of that, I got 3 first-round picks. So I got 5, I believe, like 17 or 18, and then 30. So I just wanted a ton of first-round picks, see what I could do with it, because I've never really been able to draft super heavily, considering, I usually at the minimum make the playoffs, so I'm drafting like late 20s. So I don't really get, good chance to participate in these drafts. So I wanted to switch it up a bit this time. But yeah, missing Kyler is going to hurt, but Watson should do all right for me.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. Deshaun Watson at only 85 speed and not currently able to get Escape Artist. Are you going to run Haro Master with your current scheme?
No, I'm rocking Escape. He's at 89
Okay.
improviser, so he's like 1 week away from getting Escape. So
Okay,
right
so
back
he's
to
much
it.
closer
Yeah.
to Escape,
Yeah.
going right back to Escape. I 100%
Yep.
respect that, especially in this league where D linemen are so slow and Escape is just so fast.
Yeah.
Anyways, Kmac,
Yeah.
we do not want to keep you. Thank you so much for coming on, talking about your draft, talking about the recap. We're excited to see if you can repeat next year. You got a tough road in the NFC, but it'll definitely be a good and entertaining season.
Absolutely, man. Thank you again.
Thank you so much for coming on.
But if I were to do preseason week 1 Super Bowl matchup, from the NFC, personally it's difficult looking at it now. I want to go with the person that I'm talking with during this, obviously.
But you can't. I wouldn't.
I do think he'll make a run. I am going to go with Kobo. I think Kobo will make a run. I think he's going to figure out his team throughout the year, figure out what he needs. He's going to make trades. He's going to buy devs. He's going to figure out what his team needs to fit his scheme. And I think that Kobo is due for a run. Kobo has been so close to winning so many Super Bowls in this DML leagues. I think he is going to make another. I think he's going to make another one. I think he might finish the job. I don't want to reveal that yet. And then from the AFC, obviously T Hammer, he's going to make the Super Bowl. No, he's not. But from the AFC, I am going to go with the man, the myth, the legend, the consistent, the guy that is always going to do good things in these leagues. I'm going to go with David. David is due to go back to the Super Bowl. David has not made a Super Bowl in a long, long time. For his standards. Usually David earlier on in the year was making Super Bowls left and right, forward to sideways. Recently, he has not been making them too much. He's been making a lot of conference championships, a lot of divisional rounds, but just hasn't been in the Super Bowls too often. I think that this is I think this is a breakthrough year for David. I think he is going to make the Super Bowl. I didn't pick him for the division, but I am going to pick him to make the Super Bowl.
I like that.
And then in the Super Bowl, I am going to pick Kobo to beat David in a very close game, more likely. But I do like Kobo winning that. I like Kobo winning the whole entire thing. I think that he will beat David in the Super Bowl.
Bold picks, no doubt.
Yep.
Out of the NFC, for me, while you were talking, I was thinking it's either going to be out of the NFC. Oh, it's so tough in the NFC. I'd say it's between Kmac and Astro. Madden Rock's great player. It's dependent on a lot of things, but it's going to be between Kmac and Astro. And in the AFC, I think it's between Goose and David. Goose, if he plays right for 3 games in a row, which he very well can, it's always that third game for Goose, always that last little bit that he gets in his head, or,
Yeah, he had a 17-point lead on Radiant, and he lost.
Yeah, it's tough, right? I'd probably say if Goose plays David in the playoffs, I do like Goose over David because he's so unorthodox, and a lot of David's offenses can't even max protect. They only have the running back. So Goose's 4-3, even 6-1 definitely has a foothold on David's offense to some degree. But if they don't play, I like David to make the Super Bowl over Goose. But if I have to make a general assumption, I'm going to take David out of the AFC. Out of the NFC, I'm going to take Astro. Now, Astro last season did get cheated allegedly in the divisional round. We obviously don't know how bad that was. But I've played Astro. Easily the most explosive bunch I've ever played. He has the most variety of plays when he runs bunch. It's just absolutely wild how good he is and how confident he is throwing the ball near defenders. And I know that sounds, are you bashing on him? But he has so many reps that he knows exactly what he can throw. He's one of those guys that'll throw a streak and he knows when he has a step. And he'll get it. You'll yell at the screen and Astro will smile because he's got it like 50 times in the past week. So I'm going to take Astro out of the NFC and then David out of the AFC. And then I'm going to take Astro again for the Super Bowl. Of course, this is probably biased as I lost to Astro on the wild card. But I truly think he has the potential. I believe this is only like his third CFM season he'd be playing. And I feel like he's finally got the grip on it. I'd like to take Astro.
Pick. I got confidence in Kobo. Kobo's due. That's my thing. I think he's due. He has been so close so many times. I think he's due to win one of these.
I get it. Well, anyways, that's going to conclude our draft recap show.